Hello, good night, and welcome to Grandshelt Nights, where we're just a group of four guys, and we talk about what's new in the mobile game Final Fantasy Brave Exvius by Square Enix. Right, from in-depth breakdowns, explanations, overviews, opinions, and reviews, we pick apart the best and worst within the game and what to expect for every type of player. I'm Zero, and I'm here with Panda and Kuja, and we're gonna be talking about the current banners that we have for Halloween. Their the event that we got for it, the units, and a little bit about the game updates. Right. So I'm joined with Kuja right now, and we're going to talk about the first of all the banner that we have. What are your thoughts on the banner, Kujo?
Well, I mean, the banner is there's two banners. There's one with the new units, Lilith and Lucius. No 4-star, no 3-star. And then there's a banner with the old Halloween units, Dracu Lasswell, Demon Rain, Grimlord Sakura, I Nicole.
A
Um,
ton of them, basically.
yeah, basically. Pirate Jake, Black Cat Lid, and White Witch Fina.
All right. Well,
Now we're
we're
gonna go in and
Mhm.
explain each of the units and their usefulness, really. Um, let's start with Black Cat Lid.
Yeah.
Um,
It's one thing to note though is that we're getting the unit awakening, so we're unsure yet about how better they can get. So we're just covering what they are at the moment until we do. Yeah.
right.
So Panda, I mean Kuja.
Basically, Black Cat Lid is just bonus. She gives a little bit of decent damage for a 3-star unit, but in the 7-star meta,
Because
it really
she does
doesn't
have
make
killer.
too
She
much
does
difference. Yeah.
she does come with a ton of killers. Yeah.
So the next one would be White Witch Fina. Again, with her TM is not very good. As a unit, if you awaken her abilities, she's actually a pretty decent MP battery. There
I think
are,
for a free to play player, she's probably one of the better choices. Yeah.
yeah, she's probably one of the best MP batteries outside of 5-star units well, 5-star base units at this point.
Well, why don't you bring up also Rosa, as how she
Yeah,
has had
Rosa.
her enhancements
Rose is
and she has MP refresh?
they're
Yeah.
both good. It's just that she, rather than doing a little refresh each turn, it's right there on demand, similar
Yeah.
to like Zargaboth, basically.
What about the other 4-star that we got on this
I,
as well?
I
Like,
like Jake is something that we should talk about. Honestly, he has a decent kit. It's kind of iffy. I think. What do you think, Kuja, about Jake?
Yeah, I mean, as a unit, he's not very good, but he comes with one of the best tanking rings there is. I mean, it was very good when he came out last year, and it's still very good now. If you get if you get Pirate Jake, he's still good for a bonus, and his TM is very good. So if getting him is not a bad thing.
and what about the last one? The other
Illusionist
4-star.
Nicole.
Yes, he would be considered, I think, the one that's closest to a 5-star on the banner.
Yeah, I agree.
Why would you
I
say
agree.
that is? Why would you say that is?
Because he has one of the most niche skills in the game at the moment. He can cast AOE physical cover on pretty much any unit you want. So he pretty much makes AOE physical tanking very easy.
Now,
You can use yeah.
me personally, I've never I haven't had the opportunity to get him, so I didn't know that he was just physical only. But it seems like such an amazing sale. I'm hoping to get one definitely for this Halloween.
Yep.
So
And also, in his that's on his side, he is getting ability awakenings more than likely next week. We don't really know what they're gonna be, but
oh,
I
I'm
mean,
hoping
really,
they
if
do
uh,
something great.
I mean, they don't have to do much to make him pretty good. I mean,
Yep.
I can see them enhancing his break. If they enhance his breaks to 50%,
Well,
he's very good.
uh,
Um,
one thing I would say about Illusionist Nicole with enhancements, one thing that would make him more desirable is if with his enhancements they also added in mitigation to his AoE cover.
he does. He has.
Well,
It's low.
like enhancing it a little bit more.
Yeah, they would need. I mean, they need to because it's like 30% when everybody else has like 50 plus on their AoE covers. But I mean, again, he's making any unit an AoE physical cover, meaning like you could have a 100% evasion unit and physical cover anything you want. You could do it with anybody. You could do it with Noctis. You can do it with just any easily built unit to get
At,
to 100%
at the
evasion.
same time, his TMR is not that bad. Also, it's 45 MP, 25 magic, and it's a hat. Comes with auto
Yeah,
refresh and auto limit, which is really good at times,
yeah,
depending if
it
on your
is.
magic, on your mage.
I mean, I wouldn't put it in the really good category, but it's pretty good. It's a decent TM.
All right,
But
now speaking of like units that do, these past
so
units, the
let's get
five-star units
yeah, let's get
are
into the real
also.
units of this banner.
Yeah, of
um,
course. Let's
So
start
I
with
say
the past units that we've had previously and see how much better they are getting in their seven-star forms.
I
Let's start with Dracu Lasswell. Um,
yeah,
yeah, let's hear from somebody who, let's say, who has Dracu. I think
like me.
Panda, you have
Yeah,
Dracu, right?
yes, I do have
What's your
Dracu Lasso.
experience with him?
He was pretty bad back then. Even with enhancements, he's still pretty bad. He's still pretty bad. He's awful.
yep.
But
What kind of unit would you say he's known for? Like, in other words, what is he, a DPS unit? Is
he
he
is
like double hand? Is he,
he's
you
a
know?
dual. He can be, he back then dual wield was more relevant. So and seeing now how his kit is, he expands more on having multiple weapons.
You mean well, no,
Like
he's a true double hand user.
yeah, he can be a true double hand weapon, true double hand user, but he also has skills just like Reagan. You can have katana mastery, great sword mastery. He has it in
Hmm.
his kit now.
All
Yep.
right. So what does he get in his seven-star form? Kuja.
Yeah, he gets a lot of power actually in his 7-star form. He is uh I would say 100 times better than he was before. Um, a lot of people have been calling him ICO. I wouldn't go out and say he's that strong, but he's pretty good. Um, his his TMR ability. Well, actually, we can start off with his TM. His TM is Vampire Cloak,
Yep.
and it is 20 defense, 30 magic, 30 spirit, and it also gives you evade, which is 10% physical evasion. 10%
Which is
physical evasion is not bad for anybody.
at,
Taking
at
less hits is always a good thing.
at the same time, take
Um,
into consideration, he is he's 2 years old, right?
yep.
Yeah, he's 2 years old, and this TMR was good back then.
it still is
Yep.
pretty good as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
Yeah,
if you don't
it's
if you
fallen
didn't
off,
yes, it
but yeah,
has.
it's still pretty good.
It's good
I
if
mean,
you didn't.
the stats are still kind of strong
Yeah.
for clothing.
What is really really good, and he's probably got the STMR of the banner.
Yep.
It is fantastic. 50 flat attack with 50% true double hand and 15% physical and 10% magic evasion. It's pretty crazy. What is
Yeah, magical
STMR?
evasion is not that it's not that it's not found that much in the game. So having a couple of magical evasion uh, ma- equipment is amazing, right?
At the same time, in Japan's side, they're kind of trying to push out magic evade, but not as much. And so this kind of is somewhat hinting at a future like having some magic evasion, is what I'm thinking.
Maybe.
Probably. It seems as though things are like heading in a different direction
Now,
compared to
what
JP.
now for what makes him actually a lot better? And it
Um,
starts with his TMR ability, which gives
so is
him
there anything
20
that we wanna highlight though in his kit that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah. His
significant?
TMR ability is one of the better ones. It gives him 20% attack and magic. It increases his physical evasion by 20%, and that's actually key because he has evasion in his kit. With I believe he does
Yeah, with his enhancements also.
with his ability awakenings. So, and he also gets 100% true double hand when using his TM.
Wow, it's
Um,
pretty strong.
and
Would
then he
would somebody
also
want to make him a provoker though,
no.
like an
No,
evasive provoker?
no. I mean, he's a damage dealer. He's like a slightly worse Heo.
Okay.
Because basically, some of his abilities that he gets. I mean, he ends up being a divine ruination chainer. He's got double cast, which is perfect for a true double hand unit. He also has an ability that chains with absolute tranquility. It's not a chain family we have yet, but once CG Lasswell gets his 7-star, there will be a lot more units that you see with this chaining family, and it's actually a pretty powerful move
So
for
his
him.
variation gets his move before he does.
Yeah,
Pretty
yes,
much,
pretty much.
pretty much, and really, it's just a timing thing.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, he can chain with, he can chain with Yo, he can chain with Fravia. I mean, and he's gonna be an ice chainer for the most part because he can imbue ice
Oh
to his
yes, that's true.
attacks.
Trivia is gonna be his best friend basically.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
and also one thing about his LB lets him unlock triple cast. So even though his LB isn't very good, I mean it does enable you to use triple cast for 3 turns.
uh, the one thing about it is just it's 30 LB crystals. Is the one thing about him.
Yeah.
What would you say hurts his kit at the moment? Like there's usually some
Uh,
pros. Tell us what
yeah.
kind of
The
cons they
cons
have.
on him are his modifiers for his attacks are pretty
So,
low, with the exception of his absolute tranquility chaining move.
what
But
about
no
his
means with that
I
right
mean,
now. So
what about this one move that he learns, a hybrid damage move? It's 26. It's a huge modifier for
yeah, it's a huge modifier, but unfortunately, it's a cooldown that's only available on turn 4, and with that ability, it's hybrid, and his magic is not
He
very good.
It
You're
can't
not going to
hold
be
up.
building him for magic, so it's going to be very.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as effective as a unit that focuses on hybrid damage, that has a high magic and high attack set at the same time, like a Malphise or a Fravia. So he's just gonna. I mean, basically, you're gonna be building him exactly like Heo. Um, he's probably gonna be strongest with a great sword because then you can use Heo's TM on him.
Cha-ching!
Oh,
Uh,
speaking of comparing, you know, Dracu to another powerful unit like Heal, don't we have to like there's also like another unit that's comparable to another powerful unit. Like I believe it's Grimlord Sakura, and she's comparable to, Transterra in some sense. Can you tell us? Let's talk about her.
I mean, I would say sort of. I would, in my opinion, I think Grimlord Sakura is probably one of the weaker units on this banner.
Why would you say that?
Unfortunately, she just didn't get a lot in her 7-star kit. She gets a little bit more power and they give her some true double hand magic. So she's gonna have a high magic stat, but I mean they didn't really. I don't see her moves being that much better. I mean
But
maybe with
she does
with her
chain.
awakenings,
She does
her
chain with Transterra, right?
Yeah, she has Chaos Wave
yeah,
chains.
yeah, not Chaos Wave Awaken though, unfortunately. So she is okay.
That's her one issue that holds her back.
Yeah.
And at the same
And then
time,
her other abilities at 7-star are just, in my opinion, not all
they,
that good.
yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, it makes her into a single target healer or damage she can cast damage mitigation, but she's a damage dealer. So, in my opinion, it's not all that useful.
She's kind of pretty
So-
niche.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of like plain Jane. She chains with herself and a little bit with Transterra. It's fine. I just don't think she's all that good.
At the same time,
What is good about her though is her STMR. While it might not seem like it's all that great because the stats aren't that high.
Yep.
But double hand magic is very good. So anything that gives you double hand magic is also very good. Plus it gives you HP and MP, and it's true double hand for spirit.
Also, one thing I noticed about her that is probably overlooked is her potentially her I would say her limit burst could be very powerful. Unfortunately, she has to use limit burst crystals for one of her moves, as well as her kit doesn't build LB crystals innately. So
Right. Yeah, but I mean again, the move that takes crystals isn't that good in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very expensive to give a 35% damage mitigation to the whole party. It's
Yeah.
nice to gain access to it. It allows you to triple cast her other ability, Candy Treat, which makes her into more of a healer. But
and an MP
again,
battery ish.
yeah, again, you're looking at a unit that's, in my opinion, not lacking, or she didn't get anything significantly better in her 7-star kit. So,
all right, let's
Well,
move
one
on
thing I
to-
gotta say.
Yep.
Here comes the big boy, the one everybody's been expecting for. And it has to be our boy,
Demon
Demon
Rain.
Rain. What
Yep,
do you
Alright.
think?
I like Demon Rain also.
Okay, let's hear a little bit about what he was before and how we can compare him.
He is, in my opinion, not really comparable to any unit in Global because of how niche he is and how powerful he is. When he first came out, he was bad. He was very bad. But then last year, when Gumi gave him enhancements, he went from being very bad to very good. He is a counter tank, and he's different than a lot of the other units with counter in the fact that his counters hit at a 3x. So he's doing significantly more damage than any other counter. And
Right.
he can like basically survive on just his counter hits giving you enough damage in a fight.
I personally have had issues with counters because honestly I started the game with tanks like let's say Veritas of the Earth or having Wilhelm now. They do a lot of counters, but they don't do that much damage with their counters. To have a
No,
tank doing
that's
such
very
significant
different
damage.
with Demon Rain. He
Yeah.
has true double hand, and his one knock at 6-star was he's a little too squishy to tank. Well, Gumi decided to go out and say, you know what? Let's make him tanky. Let's make him be able to tank and actually survive. So they added a bunch of stuff to his kit to make him more tanky. He's got a lot of passives that give him more defense, more spirit. He even gets equipment, defense, and spirit. He also gets more HP, more attack, which makes him just beefier all around. And he also gets chance to ignore fatal damage 100% when
That's
his
always great.
HP
Yep.
is above 1%. So basically, if he takes a hit that would bring him to 0, it's not going to bring him to 0. It's going to bring him to 1, and he can survive another hit.
Oh yeah.
Another key ability that they gave him is AoE physical cover. Now, before, his problem
Wait, he is a
was
cover tank now?
yes.
Oh my
Yep.
god. That is
Yep.
amazing.
Mhm.
That is really amazing. Does his counters how much time does he have any limitations to his counters? Like
Nope.
there's some
Nope.
that who
Nope.
gets
He just counters and he'll hit until he feels like
so
stopping.
so
Or
if
you're
he
dead.
is countering for will he counter for every hit from a for like
Yep.
let's say if he's covering an entire party?
Yep. His
That is
passives
ridiculous.
bring his counter to 100%. So he's going to be hitting for every single attack he takes. He's going to be hitting once.
I'm just imagining the most recent battle with Calcabrina, and you have like 6 stalls, so and all of them counter. So
Yeah, but he'd probably still die from that.
Sadly.
Yeah, they hit hard, so he would probably die.
but yeah, it's
um,
still the idea is really
Mhm.
powerful though.
I mean, he's also got like he can add fire to his attacks. He can buff the party 150% for attack and magic for 3 turns, and give physical and magic damage against humans, like human killer,
Hmm.
to everybody. That's power. I mean, he's really powerful, and he's also gotten trust, which is useful because, in all honesty, he doesn't have many abilities to do. He's really got just his tanking abilities, and he doesn't have many like attack moves. So he's got a lot of free time. So yes, he can actually take advantage of and trust.
Nice. That's amazing. And now we have 2 other units to cover, but should we talk a little bit about the banner that they're gonna be on? At least the information that we got so far. Can you
Uh,
tell us like what? Yeah, Panda.
Honestly, what I think for this banner,
Yep.
it mainly depends on what Gumi is doing, because right now, how it seems like it is that you can get off banner rainbows alongside with these 3, um, which kind of hurts it a bit.
Yeah, it hurts it a lot. Because not let alone there's 3 units on this banner. Granted, they're all 3 of them are pretty good. But like if you're looking for, a Demon Rain, you want 7-star Demon Rain, and you don't have one. Good luck, because it's gonna be hard to get one. If you have these units, yeah, I would pull for
Yeah,
sure.
just because I have one Dracu Lasswell, and I'm really tempted to pull. It's just depending on how much or what they do.
But if Gooby decides to say, hey, every rainbow you pull is a Halloween rainbow, this banner's great.
It's amazing.
All right. Well, let's move on to the new units that we are gonna get to see. First of all, we're gonna talk about Lucius.
Yeah, Lucius.
Yes. Is he Lucius, or is he just very plain? How does he?
I wouldn't say he's bad, but I would say he's not as good as the other unit on the banner. Lucius is a dual wielder, which at the moment is a knock on the unit, just because true double hand units are stronger. So anybody that has dual wield now, he's more free to play friendly for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But as a unit in total, I mean, he's just okay in my opinion. He's got very similar type of kit to a like a queen, where he has to go under a certain threshold of HP, and he gets this big buff. So he'll buff himself up 200% attack, so
Mm-hmm.
that he can hit really hard.
Now
Um,
comparing him to Queen, now Queen actually does that herself. She brings herself low and then back up again. Does he have any abilities that basically gets him below his
Yes.
threshold to buff
yes, he
himself?
does.
Yes, it
He's
does.
got a couple moves that will lower his HP. Like one of his cooldown abilities does
95%.
95% damage to him.
Ooh,
He also
95%.
has a auto revive that auto revives him at 1% HP. So that
Hmm.
basically he'll auto revive and he'll have the attack buff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of nice, and I understand what they were doing. It's just
Now, one of the
uh,
things, me being a more free-to-play player, or at least one of the things I've noticed about him that's really appealing is that he has a lot of chaining family. He can chain with Aerial Away family, Octoslash family, and more recently, the new Kingsglaive, which is belongs to Nyx, and as well,
yeah.
he and the other new unit Lilith can take advantage of. Um, what I mean, and that to me, even though he's a dual wielder, it seems extremely significant, at least to provide these varying types of chaining abilities, at least as things move on in the game.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he's good in the fact that he's kind of like your jack of all trades chaining wise. He can chain with a bunch of different people. So he does have that going for him.
And what about
Again,
this? Like this. I mean, he has like a ton of new abilities that does multiple skills. Like I would say like he can his move Unjust Cause gives auto revive, recover
mhm,
MP, HP damage. It does like a ton of stuff, and not to mention his cooldowns, which one of them actually gives him like one, two, three, four, five different actions in one turn. I've noticed that this seems to be something that Global has been introducing, where a unit does a lot of different
mhm.
skills in one, right?
Yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, the trade-off for that is he's not super strong, I guess, is what I want to say. Um,
Even with all those abilities.
yeah, because I mean, again, his attack, he's just gonna do less damage than a true double-hander right now. That might change in the future if we get a lot more true dual wield materials and equipment. But at the moment, true dual wield's just not as strong as um, a true double
And
hand.
especially for a DPS or damage dealing unit like himself, if they're not like right up there, they lose out with
Yeah.
what's called power creep, right?
Hmm.
Like they'll basically lose to newer units over time, right? So if he's not strong now, he's gonna lose strength, even more
Hmm.
strength later.
It's not
All
that he's
right.
not strong. He is strong. He's just not as strong as some of the units we already have. I
And
mean,
does it hurt him
also,
that?
I mean, if you get the unit, he
Yep.
is pretty good. I mean, and his TM and his STM are both fantastic.
Does it hurt him that his elemental affinity is dark and fire? Like, do we get a lot of
It,
like,
It can. I mean, it can. It can
it
restrict you.
it mainly depends on the fight.
Yep. I mean, a lot of
uh,
people don't like dark, but in all honesty, it's no more resisted than like light at this point. And fire is a very common element right now too. So the fact that he uses fire and dark is, I mean, if you're going up against something that is immune to fire or dark, just don't use him. Use somebody else. I mean, there's plenty of damage dealers around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we talked about like his good points, and I mean some of his bad points is some of his good points at the same time. Uh, he shares a lot of resonance with his other unit, right?
Yeah.
In other
Well,
words, he not only he
we
does
also forgot one thing
what's
is
that?
with these units, both him and Lilith, the other 5-star on the banner, Gumi decided to introduce something called chain countering, and he
Oh,
counters with an ability
well,
that is
I was gonna
chaining with
mention.
divine ruination frames.
Mhm.
Now, it's hard to say how good this is going to be without
I was
actually
now gonna
seeing the
say
unit in.
I was now gonna recommend that we weren't what do you call it? We weren't like unsure. We weren't sure or unsure really of what or how it's gonna be used actually in a battle because they both of those units would have to get hit for the counter to actually work.
Right, and again, one of them's a tank, which is fine to have that ability,
But the other
but
one isn't.
he's a damage dealer. So if you're using to have them both chain with each other, countering wise, you would need to
Yeah.
have both of them in your party, and they both would need to get hit. Now, if Lilith is doing her job, he's not getting hit.
Wouldn't it be
So
more effective if he were, let's say, would be a cover tank? That way, it would ensure that both of them do get hit.
yeah,
Yeah.
but again, I think the introduction of chaining abilities with a counter is cool. I just think it's not gonna work on a damage dealer.
Yeah, probably if it was on a provoker or somebody who was an
Mm-hmm.
evasive provoker, it might be more effective.
Yep.
So I was saying not only they have this chaining resonance, they also have a couple of other things in the kit that are resonance. The elemental affinities of of dark and fire, as well as something that's gonna be very important for the future, charming, right? They're both very immune to charm and they can utilize.
Yep.
In terms of Lilith, how does she use? Because I see a
Well,
lot of charm in her kit.
so with Lilith, she's a tank. She leans towards magic, but she can cover physical.
She's pretty
She
much another
is,
version of Bosch.
yeah, but she's a lot better than Bosch in my opinion.
Yeah, again,
A lot better than Bosch.
keep in mind, Bosch and her were released quite a while. It's been quite a
Oh
while
yeah.
since Bosch has been released, so
Yeah. Plus, she's got a fantastic TMR. That's a spicy.
What's her
Yeah.
TMR like?
It's a mace that gives you 15 attack and 95 spirit, with an ability attached that increases your HP by 20 and defense and spirit by 10%.
Now that's very
Uh,
unique because
yes.
you don't see a
It's
lot of
also
units that take advantage of a mace, let alone a mace with so much
nope.
spirit on
In
it.
maces tend to be a tank weapon,
Yep,
and this just has a lot of passives to make it fantastic
even
in my opinion.
tankier.
And her STMR is even pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like top tier. It's probably the worst STMR out of the 5 Halloween units, but it's still pretty good. It gives you 30% HP. It increases your defense and spirit by 30% when equipped with a mace, and increases your fire and dark resistance by 50%.
Nice.
It's not super strong, but it is very good.
Yeah, I could see a lot of utility with it, and it definitely helps her more than anybody else,
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah. But
So I mean,
if you can use a mace, that's really good.
yeah, it's very significant, and maybe that's why it's kind of unique. It's kind of niche as well, because of it's for mace users, right? So what else in her kit that you think is extremely significant? Because she's got a lot. Like I said before, we have these units do a lot in a single move.
Oh
right?
yeah, her kit is chock full of stuff. Um, Stuff that makes her a good tank, a good support character, and even a good chainer.
Wow. And
Her
one
kit
thing,
is chock full of all this stuff. I mean, she can. One of the things that I like on my tank is the fact that they can auto revive themselves. That is extremely useful, and it's one of the reasons why I like Chow so
yes,
much.
yes.
And
Chao
she
is
can do that.
Chao is the Chinese anniversary event unit that we got, right? Which is exclusively a magic tank, kind of mixed with a healer, correct?
Yep.
Right. So one thing that like makes her stand out other than that is her ability to do quite a bit of heavy damage because her moves are spirit or use a lot of spirit scaling,
Yep.
right?
And yep. And that's gonna
unlike
make
unlike
her.
most tanks unlike most tanks like Bosch, even though he can cover both physical and magical,
He doesn't do
he
much else.
he doesn't do much, right? And she is more the reason why she's geared more, for magical is because of that significant damage with spirit, correct? So like you wouldn't
Yeah.
gear
Well,
her so
yes,
much
and the
with
fact that
physical.
her passives lean more to spirit, and her spirit is extremely high for a unit like her.
Like if you wanted
Um,
to build her for physical, you wouldn't really, basically you would kind of not want to use her as a damage dealer in that case, correct?
yeah, because you'd probably have to lower her spirit to increase her defense. She also has the downside of not having very many HP passives in her kit, so her HP is going to be lower than you're probably used to with a tank at 7 star. But again, she's got a lot of spirit. She's got one thing that like Bosch
Yeah.
misses is mitigation. He has no mitigation except for the mitigation that's on his cover, um, and Lilith blows him out of the water because
Well,
she's got an ability that she can cast. It's not available on turn one, but in my opinion, you don't need it because you can go and cast her magic cover on turn one, and then turn two, cast auto revive on yourself, and then turn three, cast her hypnotic presence, which gives her mitigation to physical and magic damage for
wow.
65% for one turn, and
She
mitigation
is
to physical and magic 45% for 2 turns. What that
she is
means is it's kind of
incredible.
like two buffs, because in the way the game works is the higher buff overwrites a lower buff, but if the lower buff lasts longer, once the higher buff runs out, the other buff will kick in. So basically, it's a 2 turn mitigation. It starts out at 65%, which is very high, and then drops
Mm.
down to 45%, which is still pretty high.
That mitigation is incredible. Like it's pretty much a
Yep.
limit burst kind of mitigation.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep. And
extremely massive.
her limit burst gives herself the global mitigation for 45%.
Wow.
So
That is incredible.
you got to realize that you can stack, because
Magical
magic
mitigation on
magic
top of that.
mitigation, physical mitigation are totally different than just damage mitigation.
That is incredible.
So so she can really take some hits. She is very tanky for what she is.
And
And
I
oh,
believe her Trustmaster, the fact that it's a mace can probably supplement um her lack of HP, because if you run it through item world you can get up to 60% on a mace,
oh yeah.
you know. So I mean that is extremely significant for her, you know.
Yep. Yep, I agree. One ability we kind of skipped over is her ability counter curse.
Oh yeah.
which
What does
can
that do?
increase attack, defense, magic, spirit, break resistance to 100% to everybody. But it also removes all debuffs from her and cures all status ailments to her.
Isn't
So
that kind of broken?
yeah, very broken. I mean that when it says remove all status debuffs, when it says remove all debuffs, that includes imperils and status breaks or stat
Wow,
breaks. So it's
that is pretty
similar to
impressive.
what Seaside Nicole has, where he can take everybody's debuffs to himself, and then the next turn he can cure them. She
However,
can
in her case,
cure
she just get
herself,
rid of it. Yeah, she
and
get rid of it.
yeah, and with a tank, she's normally the only one taking damage anyway, so that's the one you don't want, the status abnormalities on. So she can basically just get rid of everything with one move.
That's amazing. I mean, chances are you still need to have something on her so that she is not like the statuses that basically make you stop, like paralyze or petrify
Yeah,
or
she's
you know
actually immune to those.
or confuse. She
Yeah,
definitely needs to
she's
not.
immune to sleep, paralyze, confuse, and petrify. So
So,
basically, anything that's going to stop her from acting, except for stop, is she's fine.
all right. So, wrapping up with Lilith, is there anything else notable that you think should be brought up?
Outside of the fact that basically she can do the same thing with the counter chains, not really, and the counter chains are kind of up in the air. We don't know how good they're going to really be until we can actually get the unit and test her out and see how she performs.
All right. Well, what do you think about the banner for them, for these two, Lucius and Lilith, with the
Yeah,
step up involved?
I like the banner. I think the banner is decent. It's obviously going to be a better banner if you can only pull Halloween units off of it. I
And
mean, but we don't know that. Um, if you can pull off banner rainbows, it takes a hit. But again, it's got to step up with it. I mean, it's a 20k step up, and you're guaranteed either Lilith or Lucius at the end.
yeah, which
Well,
it's just like when Adam Jensen and Victor Marchenko was released, just like how they had their step up. It was for the first two steps. It's a total of 5k. Then you go into being 10k, 15k, and 20k, which
yeah,
it helps you
it,
out a little bit.
it's cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper than a regular one. It's very
Yeah, but you
It's not.
do
I mean,
lose the random rainbow, but you're probably going to get a rainbow anyway on doing this stuff up.
Mhm.
At least one outside of the guaranteed one at the end.
I agree. And as a free to play player, if my recommendation, like, if you've been saving up for units and stuff, the thing is, units that you can come by that are not permanent, you can always get them at any point in the game, even when you're like on these specific time limited banners. You have a chance of getting some off banners sometimes, right? So if that's the case, then if you've been storing up and saving, now would be a time to go ham on getting as many units as you can whilst getting these extremely rare ones at the same time. So my personal recommendation as a free to play player, I'm definitely going doing this step up and hoping for the best. And until now, there's one catch to it. The catch is that if you've been playing for let's say a year and you have Christmas units, since the Christmas banner is coming up with Christine,
Uh,
um, White Knight
Kryla,
Noel, and
Kryla.
Kryla, right? There is a chance that they might be significantly great as well. So it depends on what you're lacking, and you may have to choose between this one and the Christmas banner because I do not think you're going to be able to save
Yep.
enough for both of these.
Uh,
All right.
Well,
I think pulling on this banner, if you're a free to play and you don't spend too much, in my opinion, is it totally depends on what you have for units.
And if you need
You
them,
don't-
if you need
Yeah.
them, pull for them. If you don't need them, it's a skip.
Yep. Like if you need a magic tank, Lilith is extremely good. If you have Victor 7-star, I would strongly suggest pulling on Lilith because they synergize extremely well.
They do.
They
He
both.
can,
And they can
he's
chain with each other.
Yep, he's a physical provoke tank. Oh, he's a provoke tank, and she's an AoE cover that needs a provoke tank for in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and they both chain with or aerial array
Yep.
chaining frames, and they both also do something unique, which is their defense and spirit scaling. So they can take
Mhm.
advantage of both, you know.
Yep, so they can still dish out the damage even though they don't have high attack or magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well,
They,
what I think we should talk about now is their event that we're getting,
oh yeah,
which is a King Mog event.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be
Yep.
lasting again, like how each one of our single King Mog events are. It's 2 weeks long. You got that much time to farm, and you got an extra week to redeem all your stuff. Something unique about this is that they're giving out Halloween tickets, which is going to be its own separate banner, which is
Yep.
pretty good. And one big thing that
Yeah.
they did do a change on is the select summon tickets, aka the UOC. We're not sure if they removed the 150,000 one, or they're keeping it, but it's been data mined that the 1,000 currency select ticket has been found, and will be in
Yeah,
there.
I don't think there's going to be two. I would say there's going to be one that's at 1,000. They probably just lowered the price. I'm assuming just for this event, because I know back in one of the update videos, I don't remember which one, they were saying that they wanted one of the tickets to be kind of hard to get. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's nice. That means it also means you don't have to pull so hard to get bonus units.
Or farm
I
so much
also
when you can do
think-
other stuff.
I
Yeah.
also think to well, in all honesty, since we've had the 150,000, which is quite a lot, it usually takes quite a long time to
Yeah,
get that
depending
amount.
on how lucky you
Yeah.
are, it can take like 3 days just to get that much or more.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you want a lot of the other stuff King Mog usually has to offer, you have to sacrifice. For
Mhm.
for instance, if you wanted actually to get pure crisps, which are like 30,000,
And
right?
80,000.
Yeah,
The only thing is the way with the items that they're giving us in this event, they're good for people just starting out, and some of them
Actually, the one that I think
are
is unique,
niche.
the one I
Yeah.
really like is the accessory Old King's Apocryphal.
Apocrypha.
Yeah. 20%
What's unique about it?
attack, defense, magic, and spirit, plus. Oh, wait. Oh, I thought it was
It's
increased.
negative
Oh, that's
yeah.
negative 15%.
Yeah, that's not very. I don't think that's very good.
It's not. Okay, so.
Unless we're reading it wrong, which it could be possible. It could get changed, and it could be 15% all element resistances.
Which would make it
Although
good.
it's been data mined that the Old King's Apocrypha costs 150k, and if it's 20% to all
Wow.
stats,
That
and
is not
negative
worth.
15 all elements, it's not worth it. But if it's plus 15% to all elements, it's totally worth it.
Then there we got the fiendish smile, which
it
is
might be kind of interesting to a unit like, let's say, Merc Ramza, who has innate 50% elemental.
No, I mean
Not really.
the stats aren't good. The stats aren't. It's just not that good if it's negative 15% to all element resistance.
So next up is the fiendish smile, 20 attack, 12 defense. It's an accessory, which
It's okay.
it's all right. It's good for a person that just starts,
It-
and it has
Yeah,
Honestly, I
if
think the
you
best item is basically the Lilith's exclusive item. I think it's really good for
Yeah,
her.
that could potentially be good. I mean, it gives you physical and magic evasion. Um,
Yep. Yep.
you're
Then
probably
I
not always going to use it,
No,
but
but it
if you
helps.
pull Lilith, it's probably a good thing to get.
Yep. And it's
um
Um, and the
there is
Seductress armor
yep,
also might be good because it's got physical evade.
but it's only
And
for
anything
females.
that has physical evade on it
Always get it.
is pretty good. Yeah, it's yeah the bat hairband is just not that good. I mean,
And
I don't even
later
know.
we got the very doo-doo materials that we always get.
Yep.
6% defense, HP, and spirit.
Yeah.
It's not even
Not
worth
very
it.
good.
Um,
But I mean, if I were to say to make suggestions on what to get,
well, it is
definitely get
always
the UOC ticket, all the summoning tickets, the Halloween tickets. I would
Cactuars.
Cactars for sure. All of them are worth buying.
And Evo mats.
Yeah, the leveling up mats, the awakening mats for the units are good, as
Um,
well as the Moogle, the 10% Moogle, and also the individual Moogles that they sell in the Mog shop.
It just depends on which ones they are.
Right, it depends on which ones they are, and it's usually not it's not worth the 80,000 for the 5-star base ones, but the 4-star and the 3-star ones are definitely worth buying if you have the unit in your inventory and you're actually like fusing for their trust mastery or actually actively farming them.
Keep in mind also, if you have Demon Rain, Dracu Lasswell, Sakura, they will be 75% bonus. White Witch Fiona, Pirate Jake, Illusionist Nicole, 50%, and Black Cat Lid is 30, and the new units are 100 and 200. And for 7
Yep.
star, for Dracu Lasswell and them, is 150.
now my
Yep.
word of advice for any new units, new players, is that I mean, honestly, I came in at a time when it was really, really difficult to do these King Mog events. So any materials and any items that you can get that can help you is going to be really good. And
Yep.
now we're at a point where there the since we're in the 7-star meta, you can probably find a companion that's strong enough to take you through the entire event, or if
Mhm.
not, quite significant.
Yeah.
So,
And
Yeah.
keep in
I
which is
mind,
mean,
which is different from when I
there's
started.
so many 7-stars that have bonus in this event. It's probably going to be pretty easy to find like a Lucius friend or a Demon Rain or Dracu Loswell that can
Or
probably
Lilith.
or
yep.
or Grimlord Sakura
Mm-hmm.
that can
At the
carry you through it, at least elite
um,
themselves.
keep in
So
mind, if you can't find one in your friends list to help you through, there's always the Reddit handing out, like, they have threads for carries.
yep.
Honestly, Lilith feels like as though she can both block and do damage for you. So maybe she might be
Yeah, I just
extremely
don't know how good
She'll
she'll
be
be for damage in this mocking event. I just
Uh,
think that Lucius and Demon Rain and Lasswell are probably going to be better in Glimroid Sakura, who actually are, you know, damage dealers.
personally, who are you guys looking for? Like, what do you want to get and why?
Um, now, also, another thing. Recently, actually, just today, they released the new app update, which they had released the 400% parameter cap. There
Yep.
was. What was it? They added in
They reduced.
emblems also,
Yep. They changed Arena significantly.
which.
Um,
Okay, so with Arena, there will be 3 tiers of bonus units. Your cap is 100%. Each time you do a round with that bonus, it will be counted into extra points. Um, it will vary depending on the banners. Um, every week it changes, is how it is in JP. It may change in global, but
Yep.
there's always the 100%, which will always be 3 rainbows. That's how it might be more because we got more rainbows this week. It might be all the Halloween units. Then there, like
Yep.
the following week, it'll be like, say,
Valkyrie
Beatrix.
profile. Well, since
Oh yeah.
yeah, I
At the
mean,
same time, Valkyrie Profile is coming out next week, so Valkyrie Profile will be the bonuses for the 100%. Then there's the 4 stars, which will be the banner 4 stars or any other 4 stars. Same for the 3 stars. Then there you got your 25%ers, which will be the story units.
yeah, and it's basically it only counts one, so you only need to take one unit into your arena team. You don't need to stack a whole bunch of them in your arena team. So it makes you have to change up your arena team every week, and depending on what the parameters for the week, because we still get like,
Bands.
yeah, wind damage is banned, or you can't use ice magic, or you can't do dual cast or triple cast or whatever. There's still going to be that, but also in the future there will be arena events with rewards that we will get. Are they going to be the same as JP?
Which will be having.
Who really knows?
Which,
but again,
the
in
one.
JP, those events were very whaley, so
Yes.
you're probably not going to get the top rewards anyway.
Which, remember, will be container moogles, 10% rainbow tickets, 30% rainbow tickets, 5-star
And
EX
UOCs.
tickets. There's a lot of
UOCs.
UOCs, and it's really good.
Yeah, but again, remember, it's really grindy.
Yes.
It's really whaley.
And
so,
knowing how our state of it is currently, have fun dealing with the Ayakas and Rains.
Could you elaborate just a little bit, Kuja, on what you mean by it being extremely grindy?
you'd have to sit there and refill to really compete in
So
this,
what
in the,
what you're saying is that people who are gonna take advantage of it basically are the ones who have the
The-
money to
And the
Yeah.
patience.
keep refilling their
Mhm.
orbs.
and patience, because arena is really boring. I mean, they didn't change how arena works to make it better. They just increase I mean, they did increase the rewards you get from the metal turn in reward board. You get better stuff.
Like Cactuars, more tickets.
They basically took all the crap items that were on it and replaced it with good stuff. So I can't really complain about that.
Well,
Oh, as it's
nope.
the day before the new arena, should we like take in the boards that we currently have at the moment, or do you think
I mean, you can.
since
It
it's a
doesn't really
reset,
matter. I mean,
or would it
again,
like
it depends
keep
if
the
you need the
point?
stuff. Like if you need pots,
Then
yeah,
there you go.
I would do it. But if you don't need pots, you don't really need to do it.
On the other hand,
Also, with the app update, they decreased the amount of energy it costs to go to the Chamber of Arms.
10 mans.
Yeah. So basically, it cost 40 instead of 50
which is a
to
lot
do the
still.
extra, like the second stage, and it went from 30 to 10 for the first, like the prove yourself stage to the boss. So that's also useful. Cost less energy to do that. That's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And
All right, thanks for the updates that we got.
I think
Uh,
now
as-
we should talk about is what we think about if you should pull. Are you guys gonna pull for these new units?
I'm going to do the step up and then kind of take it from there.
As a free-to-play player, I am totally gonna take advantage of this banner that we have. Even though Christmas is there, I don't have any of those units, and I do have units that can replace them. So I'm gonna more lean towards these.
And for
Yeah,
me,
and I mean, and I know you have Victor, which helps.
Oh, definitely.
wanting
So
Lilith.
For me,
But
I'm
yeah.
probably gonna do my usual luck. Get him on a couple of tickets. um, but
Yeah,
besides
but
that, I still gotta finish up doing Citra, get my second in Bale.
I mean, personally, on this banner, it's definitely skippable if you don't need anything off the banner. And need is like if you don't have like if you have a Bosch or two Bosch or an Awakened Rain, you don't really need Lilith. Um, is Lilith better than Awakened Rain? Pure tanking, probably not, but she gives you a lot more than Rain does. And I would personally say that I like her better.
yep. Yep.
And I'm going to pull because I do need bonus. I have some. My luck is usually terrible, so I only have the 4-star units.
I
Uh,
only have Dracu Lasswell, which I got on the first year. On the first year when they came out, I got him on a daily.
Well, I usually just, and as I say, and usually this game is purely a roll of the dice. So, good luck to everybody, and I think next week we'll cover some more of the trials that were released.
Or probably
But
later on this week.
can you repeat that?
Probably later this week also. We will discuss
Later,
about
yeah.
like the new ones, like
You just have to see some more information about
Yep.
it, right?
And also
all right.
keep in mind that if the banner is only Halloween units,
pull.
the pull for sure, because basically you're only gonna there's no way to. I mean, you can get a unit you don't want, like if you want Demon Rain,
Boom,
you can
delete
pull
her.
any of the other units. But again, all the Halloween units are good. So if it's just Halloween units, I would say it's a definite pull.
Yeah, I agree.
If you can get off banner units, I would be more hesitant to
Yes,
pull
be
for
more.
the three Grimlord, Sakura, Dracu, Lasswell, and Demon Rain, because the amount that you're gonna need to pull to get them to 7-star is gonna be more unless you're just lucky.
And it also depends if you have one of them also. If it's also like you could get off banners, be careful, because if you're chasing for that second Sakura, second Rain, or as for me, the second Lasswell, is mainly just good luck.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
basically what you can say. If
And
you can pull off banners on these,
Try to get
good luck.
Illusionist Nicole
Good
also.
luck. Just because your chance, I wouldn't the chance of getting the units is gonna be, at least getting multiple of a unit that you want is gonna be hard.
Basically, be mindful, guys, of your money and your wallet.
And
Okay.
yeah, and I wouldn't ever recommend pulling for an STMR, even though the STMRs on this banner are pretty crazy. But
Or
I
unless
would never.
if you get like 3 probably from the step up, then yeah, I would
Then
be
maybe,
tempted.
but yeah, but that would depend on what it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't recommend anybody pulling for an STMR ever. It's too
It's
costs
way
too
too
much.
costly. Seeing how it is lately with Dyer also, have you seen his? Horrible.
No, I have not. I have not. Seen him.
Yeah,
These
I mean,
latest
he
banners
has
is
bad luck.
these latest banners he's been dropping like around 30,000.
Yeah, he's got.
Oh wait, I
Bad
mean
luck.
3 like no, actually like 100,000, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, he pulls for STMRs, and again, that's a good example.
Yeah.
Like, on a banner with 2 units on it, it's gonna cost you upwards of 100K or more to get 4 of a unit. So it's, in my opinion, not worth pulling for an STMR ever.
Nope. Well, any other thoughts, you guys?
Oh, I think
Nope.
that sounds.
Sorted.
Well, that's it.
For more in-depth breakdowns, explanations, opinions, and reviews, check with us next week. This has been Grandshelt Nights. Good night, everybody.
Later.